Hello, this is Professor Smith, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to break down and read academic journal articles. I realize that academic articles can seem intimidating at first glance, and when you get into actually reading the article, you may find that it is boring and that it's very dry in the way that it's written, and may use a lot of words and language that we're not used to. So it can seem a bit intimidating, but I'm going to give you some tips for reading an article. The key is that most academic articles follow a very similar structure. And once you know that structure, reading them becomes a lot easier. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have less anxiety about how to read academic articles, assuming you're at all nervous about it. Anyway, this is the article that we're going to be working on in the class, and I'm going to use it in many of my examples. This is the article I wrote about for the example article critique, and so I figure it's a good place to start. So anyway, this is an article I downloaded a number of years ago. It was one of the first that really got me interested in policing and crime analysis, so I figure it's a good article to use because I know it very well, and it'll be a good example for you guys. But anyway, this is the first page of the article. This just has a lot of technical information about where it was downloaded from and the journal and such. So we're just going to kind of skip through this. You don't really have to read this part. So the article really begins here, and this is the first page. And as you can see up here, this is the journal name. So this article appeared in the journal Police Practice and Research in the year 2003, and it appeared in volume number 4 and issue number 1. So most journals have a volume and an issue, so this was volume 4, issue 1, and it was on pages 47 through 61. Most journals have a printed copy as well as a digital copy. And so if we had the printed copy, it would be on pages 47 through 61. Just a quick note on this, whenever you cite an article or whenever you discuss an article, you always want to refer to the page numbers within the article itself. So for instance, this is on pages 47 through 61. This would be page 47 of the article. So if we were talking about this, we'd be talking about this as page 47, not page 2 on the PDF. Okay, so don't get those mixed up. All right, but this is the first page of the article. So you can see the title is The Crime Triangle, Alcohol, Drug Use, and Vandalism. And it was written by Thomas E. Baker and Lorene Wolfer. So those are the authors, and they are at the Department of Sociology and Criminal Justice at the University of Scranton in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Most academic articles are written by college professors. I don't know Baker and Wolfer personally, but I assume that they are professors at the University of Scranton. Anyway, below this introductory information, you'll see the abstract. Okay, so this is the abstract, and this basically is just a summary telling you what the article is about. So what theories the authors tested or what they were trying to figure out, how they did the study, how they sampled, how they collected data, and what their findings were. So this is just a good summary of the article itself. Here's some key words that would be used to find the article in a search engine. Okay. And then as you scroll down, we get the text of the article itself. So this is probably the introduction that just sets up the problem, sets up what it is that they were studying. So we'll scroll down a little bit. And then we get to the literature review. So most articles have a literature review section. The purpose of this is to talk about past research that has been done on this particular problem. And not only to do that, but also to critique that research and then talk about how this study is going to improve upon existing research or how it's going to add to our knowledge about this topic. So it's like, here's everything that's been done up until this point. Here's some of the problems with that research. here's where our study is going to fit and how it's going to do a better job and contribute to this larger body of knowledge. Okay, the literature review can be pretty intimidating. I'd recommend just kind of skimming it, and actually you may not even want to read it the first time you get into the article, but these are all parts of the literature review. Scroll down a bit. Here's just the case study. This is where they're talking about what they did. Not all articles have a case study section, but some might. Here's just a real cool diagram of the park where they did the study. It's just a little table. Keep going down. And here we go with methods. This is the section that you really want to pay attention to. This is the meat of the article. This is where you'll find the information about how they actually did the study in question. And so a lot of times when I'm reading an article, I'll read the abstract first, then I'll skip down to the methods section. Okay, because the methods will explain what their independent dependent variables are. It will explain how they sampled. It will explain how they collected data. It will explain their research design. All right. So you're going to want to read the methods section very carefully because it will tell you all of those things, and you'll need to know those things for your article critique. So you'll read through the methods, and I'm just going to skim through this very quickly. Research instrument, here they're talking about the fact was they did a survey in this study, so they talk about how they developed the measures for the study. And then the next major section that you're going to want to search for is results. So results will tell you what the study found. Okay, so the methods tells you how they did the study. The results tell you what they found now that the study is over. Okay, so you're going to want to read the results very carefully. And a lot of times the results, they may have these tables or they may have these weird formulas and statistics. If you don't understand that, that's okay. But just kind of skim through the results. Okay. And again, we see more tables and statistics. And we finally get to the next major section, which is the discussion. The discussion just kind of brings everything back together. So now that we know how they did the study, we know what the findings were in the results section, the discussion just situates everything and just kind of wraps everything up, talks about the findings, not only of their study, but where they fit kind of within the big picture and where they fit within the literature review. Study limitations. Some articles will have a section where they describe limitations of the study, and so these are some problems that they ran into methodologically in the study. And sometimes these actually will have suggestions for future research, things that can be done to improve upon this study if someone else wants to replicate it. And then they have a conclusion where they just kind of wrap up overall their findings. And then we get into the references, and these are all the other papers and books that they cited in this particular article. And that's pretty much it. So how to read this? My advice would be always start with the abstract. This is the first thing that you're going to want to read. Read the abstract very carefully. Okay? Then what I would do is skip down to the methods section, read the methods section very carefully. Okay, make sure you understand how they did the study. Then you're going to want to skip to the results. Read the results very carefully. That'll tell you about the findings. Okay. And then finally read the discussion and any limitations and conclusions. Once you've read all that, then I would go back to the beginning and read it from the introduction all the way through. Okay, but again, the meat and potatoes of the article are going to be in the methods section and in the results section. All right, and specifically the methods, because that is where you're going to find all the elements that you'll need for phases 2 and 3 of the article critique project. And again, you'll be seeing more of this article in the future. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any questions about reading academic articles, you can shoot me an email and I would be happy to answer them. And that's pretty much it.